Good morning. On Sunday, the 20th of November, Akwaaba. My name is Mark, and yeah, it's another Sunday morning session a bit earlier today. So starting at 9 o'clock. If you watch this on playback, hope you enjoyed the session. If you're watching live, again, hope you enjoyed the session. Yeah, we're going to get cracking. It's not a long one today, and it's going to just be a morning flow just to wake the body up. So yeah, let's get started. Let's come into the mat. We're going to start in Balasana in our child's pose. So let's come down onto the mat, knees apart, feet together. As always, when you're practicing, do listen to your body and go at your pace. Yeah, so start to bring the chest down towards the floor, towards the mat. Go long in the arms and bring your forehead as close as you can towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch. Child's pose, Balasanas seem to be a resting pose, but some of us might find it a bit uncomfortable, a bit tight in the knees or in the hips. Always feel free to just make adjustments. You can always push up off your heels, wherever you are. We're just keeping it here for a few breaths, just so that we're arriving on the mat. We're arriving in this space this morning. We're letting go of anything that might have happened during the week. We're really going to make use of the next 20 minutes or so to reward ourselves, reward our bodies by finding movement, exploring different muscles in our body, warming ourselves up as we prepare the body for the day ahead, just as we would prepare the body for meditation. Let's take a deep inhale in through the nose. Put the belly press against the thighs and exhale out through the mouth. And again, inhale in and exhale out. On the next inhale, let's come up onto all fours. We're going to come into our tabletop. Hands, knees and feet are hip distance apart. Just take some cat and cows. We're going to bring the belly down, the gaze goes up. Take the tailbone high. Exhale, round in the upper back. Take the gaze to the navel. And again, deep inhale in. So we undulate through the back, just finding movement through the spine, and exhale out. Round in the upper back. Bring the shoulders apart. Find a space in the upper back. Take the gaze to the belly. And again, deep inhale in. And exhale. Let's come back into a neutral spine. I'm going to see if we can lift that left knee off the mat and point the left toes towards the back of the room. Pressing out through the heel, through the sole of the foot. Just find your balance down on next breath. Let's lift up that right hand. Just there, play with your balance. Take the gaze towards the front of the room. The right arm is long. We're going to go long in the neck. Take your gaze down towards the mat instead. And hold here for 3, for 2, for 1. Engage over the core. And then let's start to draw that left knee in towards center and bring that right elbow back towards the right hip. As you round in the upper back and crunch in the core for 3, for 2, for 1. Bring that left knee back down. Right hand comes back down towards the floor. Let's come to the other side. On the next breath, we're lifting up that right knee first, finding our balance. Then we're pressing our right leg, our right sole of the foot towards the back of the room. If you can play with balance, if you can lift up that left hand, left arm goes long, facing the left palm to the right side again. Maybe go long in the neck, facing down, engaging for the core for 3, for 2, for 1. Let's crunch in now. So bring that right knee in towards the nose. The left elbow comes towards the left hip for 3, for 2, for 1. Let's come back down into our tabletop. We're going to curl the toes under, press our hands into the floor. Downward facing dog. We just start to walk out through the toes, through the feet. As we stretch out through the calf muscles. Start to come into stillness by energetically drawing our heels down towards the floor, pressing our hands into the mat, long in the arms, lifting the tailbone high. Take a long breath in and sigh it out. On the next breath, let's come high on our toes, jump, step, or walk, and let's all meet at the front of our mat. And our forward fold, our ragdoll, just sway the body from side to side, keeping the softness in the knees. It's nice and heavy here. Slowly start to wind up. One vertebra at a time, keeping the arms heavy, the head is heavy. So we come onto the top, I'm going to roll the shoulders back, raise the palms forward as we meet into Tadasana, a mountain pose. Just lift the chin off the chest, again, roll the shoulders back so you find this space at the front of the body. Inhaling through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. Let's shuffle the feet together as we prepare for our sun salutations. On the inhale, let's float the arms up towards the ceiling, bring the hands together and prayer to the gaze up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, bend from the hips to come all the way down. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins, long in the arms, long in the back. On the exhale, bend into the knees as much as we need so we can bring our hands down, step back with the left and right foot. Kumbhakasana, high plank. For the first one, let's all drop down onto the knees, uncurl the toes, bend into the elbows to come down to our low plank. Bring the chest down, tuck the elbows in towards the ribs, press up into our cobra. Peeling the chest away from the floor. And on the exhale, we're lifting up the bum as we come back into our tabletop. I'm going to curl the toes under. Downward facing dog. Inhale in here. And exhale out. Let's come high on the toes again. Jump, step, or walk. Let's meet again at the front of the mats. Inhaling for a halfway lift. Exhale out to release. On the next breath, let's go long in the body, floating the arms up towards the ceiling. Long deep breath in. Exhale, bring the hands into prayer, back to the center of the chest. Let's go again. Inhale to take the prayer high. Follow the hands up with the gaze. On the exhale, Uttanasana, bend from the hips. Let's come all the way down to our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend into the knees. Keep bending, maybe the heels lift up. Place the hands down, step back. High plank. Going to come to our chaturanga now. Feel free to bring the knees down. Or keep the knees high so you roll forward onto the toes, bend into the elbows for a low plank. Press up into our cobra or upward facing dog again. Tuck the elbows in. Maybe the knees lift off the mat. On the exhale, downward facing dog. Long deep breath in. And exhale out. This I'm going to lift up through that right leg so it's parallel to the floor. As we did at the beginning, I'm going to draw that right knee through as we go knee to nose. And then step the right leg all the way through so the right foot sits on the inside of the right hand. Let's drop down to that left heel. So the left side of the foot is flat on the mat. Keeping a bend in that right knee, you're going to start to peel the chest away as we prepare for our warrior one. So we've got external rotation going on through the hips. Let's float the arms up towards the ceiling. Long in the torso for one breath. And on the exhale, bring the hands back down towards the mat. Let's turn onto the left toes. So we're high on the left toes, left heel's lifted off the mat, and let's jump that left foot forward or shuffle it forward any which way. Let's all meet in our forward fold at the front of the mat. Just sway the body from left to right. Inhale to come to our halfway lift. Exhale, soften to release. Inhale, again, we're going long with the body, taking the arms up, the hands towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands into prayer at the center of our chest. Let's go again, but on the opposite side. Inhale to take the prayer up towards the ceiling. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften to bend into the knees. Lift up the heels as you place your hands down. Let's step back with the left foot. And let's step back with the right as we meet in our Kumbhakasana, high plank. So as we did on the right side, we're going to rock forwards onto the toes. Feel free to drop onto the knees. Once we're coming into our chaturanga, bend into the elbows for low plank. Press through the toes as we come up for a cobra or upward facing dog. Rolling the shoulders back. And on the exhale, downward facing dog. Long deep breath in here. And exhale out. So this, I'm going to lift that left foot up so it's left foot to left leg, so it's parallel with the floor. And on the exhale, we're drawing that left knee all the way through the body, taking the knee towards the nose. I'm going to step that left foot just on the inside of the left hand. I'm going to drop down into that right heel, bring the right sole of the foot to the floor. Right foot's pointing out to maybe 2 o'clock. Keeping a bend in that left knee. Once you feel nice and stable and grounded, let's start to peel the chest away from the left leg. As we get ready for our warrior one. Nice and long in the torso. Let's float the arms up towards the ceiling. Take a deep inhale in here. And on the exhale, we're floating our hands down towards the front of the mat. Turning onto the right toes. So the right foot is facing forward. Right heel's lifted up. And then jump or step that right foot forward. Let's all meet once again in our forward fold. Inhale in here. And exhale out. Take a halfway lift, hands on the shins. Lengthen out through the arms, long in the neck. Exhale, soften to release. On the next breath, let's float the hands up towards the ceiling. Again, long in the body. Exhale, hands into prayer at the center of the chest. Deep breath in as the prayer goes high. On exhale, bring the hands back into prayer at the center of the chest. I'm going to keep the feet to the hip distance apart. Drop the hands down. Bring the arms into the Dasana, palms facing forwards. On the inhale, we're going to start to bend into the knees. As we do, we're going to float the arms up towards the front diagonal as we come into our chair pose. So keep bending to the knees. As we bring the bum close towards the floor, we're going for the anterior tilt of the pelvis. So we're drawing the hips forward, engaging for the core for 3, for 2, for 1, forward fold. Inhale to come to a halfway lift. Exhale, bend into the knees. Let's place the hands down at the front of the mat. Let's step back to the left, step back to the right. As we meet once again in our Kumbhakasana, our high plank. Walk forwards onto the toes, bend into the elbows for low plank. Press up into our upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Long breath in. and exhale out. Let's come high on the toes and jump a step forwards. Let's meet again at the front of the mat in our forward fold. Again, slowly just wind the body up, keeping the arms, the head heavy. Let's come up to a standing position. Roll the shoulders back, and once again we meet in Tadasana. The hands are facing forwards. From here, we're going to come into pyramid pose. So with the left foot, just take it back a couple of feet. Face the left foot out, so maybe it's facing towards 10 o'clock. Your right foot still facing forwards. Imagine your feet on train tracks, so that's a sort of gap you've got between your legs. From here, we can take opposite hands to opposite elbows. Some of us might be able to bring our hands into prayer at the center of our back. I can't quite do that, so I'm going to go opposite hands to opposite elbows, and maybe just grab onto the wrists, or feel free just to place your hands on your hips. On the inhale, let's all remain nice and long with the torso, and on the exhale, we're bending from the hips, so keeping the legs where they are. If it helps to take a slight bend in the right knee, then please, I encourage you to do so. Start to bring the chest forward, keeping the neck nice and long. And then when you find that point, you can start to feel it in your right hamstring. Just come to hold the pose there. If it helps, you've got a block handy. Maybe place both hands on the block to come a bit deeper into the hamstring. Feel free to bring the chest a bit closer towards the floor. You're going to go for small movements here. For 2, for 1, wherever you are. On the inhale, let's come to a halfway lift. So you're lifting the chest up, so it's parallel to the floor. Maybe use the hands and the hips to support yourselves. And on the next breath, let's come all the way up. So engage for the core to bring the torso up. Let's swap and take the opposite side. So bring the left foot forward, and then just step the right foot back. So this time the right foot's pointing out towards, 2 o'clock. Left foot is facing forwards, or maybe pointing out slightly towards 11. Feet are on train tracks, so you've got a healthy distance between your feet. Again, feel free to take a slight bend in that left knee. Maybe opposite hands to opposite elbows, or take a prayer to center the back. Grab opposite wrists, or like me, just grab onto the hips. We're nice long with the torso, we're engaging through the core. Inhale to go long, exhale, we're bending from the hips to bring our torso down. Keep the neck nice and long. Just go to the point where you can start to feel that stretch in that left hamstring. Again, I invite you to use any props. If you've got a water bottle handy or a brick block, feel free to place your hands on that. Just finding a stretch for the left hamstring. For 3, for 2, for 1. On the next breath, let's bring the hands back towards our hips. So we'll place our hands on our hips, and let's come up into a halfway lift. Let's come all the way up, so engage for the core to draw the torso up. Let's come back towards Tadasana. The palms are facing forwards. On the inhale, scoot the arms up towards the ceiling. On exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Let's start to lift the heels up off the floor, so we're on the toes, so we're balancing here on the feet. On our toes, start to bring the bum down towards the heels. If you fall out of it, it's all good. And let's start to walk the hands back on the mat as we lengthen out through the legs. Let's give our legs a nice shake here. Let's go long in the arms. The arms are out towards the sides, the palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Roll the shoulders back so nice and tall in the torso. Chin is off the chest. And slowly start to bring our backs down towards the mat. Play with the balance here. Engage for the core. Slowly, slowly, slowly for 3, 2, embracing your shakes for 1, and then rest your head down. The palms are facing up towards the ceiling, or maybe place your right hand on the belly, left hand on the heart. Let's take a long inhale here through the nose, and sigh it out through the mouth. One more deep inhale in, and relax. Invite you to come to Shavasana. So release any tension or gripping that might be going on in the hands. Just give yourself a nice body rotation to see what energy you're creating in the shoulders. Are they tense? If I just come and relax. And you're holding up the feet, or you're allowing them just to flop out to the side. Engaging through the quads. If you are, just let the muscles relax. Are you tensing the jaw? If you are, just rounding the jaw and relax. Just allow yourself to come to stillness. I invite you to stay in Shavasana for as long as you need, for as long as you want. Otherwise, we're going to draw the knees in towards our chest. As close as they will go. Maybe grab the front of the shins or just underneath the hamstrings. As you draw the knees in towards the chest, it just helps us stretch out for the lower back. It's a nice one if you just woke up in the morning with any lower back pain. Just take the knees clockwise and then anti-clockwise as you massage out through the sacrum, the lower back. Just walk up into a seated position. Just come cross-legged or come into the shins or come into Tadasana, whichever is comfortable. Let's take a deep inhale in through the nose and sigh it out. If your eyes are closed, I'd like to blink them open and thank you very much. All done this Sunday morning. Thanks for tuning in. A bit of an earlier one this morning. I hope you've all had a good week. I hope you have a good week ahead. Last couple of weeks of November before we hit the last month of 2022. So yeah, almost done and dusted for another year. But look, have a great week ahead, and I'll see you back on the mat next Sunday, the 27th, I think. Cheers. Take care. Bye bye.